What if the most revolutionary car of the decade is one you aren't even allowed to buy? Imagine standing behind a glass wall, watching the future zip past while you are still clutching the keys to a dinosaur. For years, we in the West, from the busy streets of New York to the highways of Sydney, have been comforted by a specific narrative. We told ourselves that certain imports were just flimsy imitations, lacking safety and soul. We leaned on the idea that our domestic brands were the undisputed champions of engineering. But deep down, there is a cold, creeping realization that the gap is no longer closing. It has already been crossed. This is the Avatr 12, a machine that represents the exact reason why governments are scrambling to build trade barriers. It isn't being restricted because it is substandard. It is being blocked because it is terrifyingly superior. While we celebrate basic luxury features like heated steering wheels, a new era of spaceships for the masses has arrived. It makes me both breathless and incredibly frustrated. We are paying premium prices for yesterday's technology while the asteroid of innovation has already made impact. If this car were allowed to roam freely today, the traditional automotive landscape as we know it would vanish by next Tuesday. Let's talk about the face of this machine, because it is genuinely haunting. It doesn't try to mimic a car. It looks like a biological entity from a distant galaxy. The front end is dominated by razor-thin, E-shaped LED light strips that wrap around the bumper like glowing veins. It's a design that feels aggressive, yet surgically clean. There are no fake plastic vents or massive grills trying to compensate for a lack of imagination. It is pure, unadulterated aerodynamics. But look closer at the tech hidden in plain sight. Usually, LIDAR sensors, those laser scanners that help a car see, are bulky boxes that ruin the roofline. On the Avatr 12, they have seamlessly integrated 3 of these high-definition LIDAR units into the bodywork. One sits discreetly on the roof, while 2 others are tucked into the front fenders. This car is constantly painting a 3-dimensional map of its surroundings with centimeter-level accuracy. It doesn't just see the road. It perceives the world with a clarity that makes the human eye look primitive. It knows what is happening around the corner before you've even thought about turning the wheel. As you move to the side profile, the sheer scale of the 12 becomes clear. In photos, it looks like a sleek, compact coupe, but in the metal, it's a giant. It stretches over 5,000 millimeters long, putting it squarely in the territory of heavy-hitting executive luxury cruisers. They call it a grand coupe, and the silhouette is as smooth as a polished riverstone. To maintain those flawless lines, there are no traditional door handles. They sit flush with the body and glide out electrically as you approach. Then you notice the mirrors, or rather, the lack of them. In place of glass, you find tiny aerodynamic camera stalks. These high-definition lenses feed live video to dedicated screens inside. While these digital mirrors are still navigating complex laws in some regions, they are undeniably the future. They eliminate wind noise, reduce drag, and make traditional glass look like an ancient relic. Even the wheels are a statement, with massive 21-inch rims housing 4-piston Brembo brake calipers. Putting racing-grade stopping power on a luxury cruiser shows they weren't interested in cutting corners. When you touch the door, it doesn't just unlock, it powers open for you. The car acts like a digital butler, using sensors to ensure it doesn't swing into a cyclist or a post. It's a level of sophistication that makes physically pulling a heavy door feel like manual labor. Now, let's look at the rear, which is the most radical part of the entire design. There is no rear window. The solid metal roof flows down in one continuous, muscular curve all the way to the trunk deck. It creates an uninterrupted silhouette that looks like a high-tech escape pod. To keep things stable at high speeds, an active rear spoiler lifts from the body, providing downforce when you need it and disappearing when you don't. The tail lights are just 2 minimalist red lines, clean and classy. You might worry about visibility, but the high-definition camera system provides a wider, clearer view than any mirror ever could. No more headlight glare from the guy behind. You and no more sun baking the back of your neck. It's a bold move that requires you to trust the technology. But once you do, there's no going back. This isn't just a design study. It's a performance beast. The top-spec all-wheel drive version features a dual-motor setup that pumps out a massive 5-88 horsepower and 6 to 50 newton-meters of torque. That is sports car territory in a luxury lounge. It will catapult you from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 3.9 seconds. It does this in eerie, total silence. You mash the pedal, your head hits the Nappa leather headrest, and the horizon simply rushes toward you. The power is supplied by a massive 94.5 kilowatt-hour battery pack from KTEL, the same company that powers the biggest names in the industry. It offers a range of over 400 miles on the standard cycle, which translates to a solid 320 miles of real-world driving. But the real game-changer is the 800-volt architecture. If you find a fast charger, you can add 125 miles of range in just 10 minutes. That's the time it takes to grab a coffee. The era of charging anxiety is officially dead. This car just buried it. The safety suite, powered by Huawei's ADS 2.0, is arguably the most advanced on the planet. With those 3 LIDARs, plus a fleet of cameras and radars, the car creates a digital twin of reality. It doesn't just see objects. It identifies pedestrians, traffic cones, and even small debris on the road. It can navigate complex city, intersections, and highway merges with a level of fluidity that feels human. It is like driving with a guardian angel that has the processing power of a supercomputer. If you try to make a dangerous lane change, the car won't just beep at you. It will actively protect you. It is an AI chauffeur that practically refuses to let you have an accident. Stepping inside is like being transported to the year 2035. The dashboard is replaced by a breathtaking 35.4-inch 4K panoramic display that sits right under the windshield. They call it the remote band, and it's positioned so your eyes don't have to refocus when moving. From the road to the screen, it feels like a head-up display on steroids, showing everything from navigation to charging status in crisp detail. In the corners, you have the screens for your digital side mirrors, which stay clear even in pouring rain. The steering wheel is a small, squarish octagon that feels more like a flight controller than a traditional wheel. It sits low to give you an unobstructed view of that massive panoramic screen. The seats are what they call zero-gravity chairs. With one touch, they recline to an angle that mimics the posture of an astronaut during launch, distributing your weight so you feel completely light. They are, of course, heated, ventilated, and offer a deep tissue massage. The materials are top tier, featuring real open-pore wood and soft Nappa leather. Even the roof is a piece of magic. It's a massive electrochromic glass panel that turns from clear to opaque at the touch of a button, blocking out the sun without needing a bulky fabric shade. In the back, the legroom is cavernous, and the flat floor means everyone travels in total comfort. Finally, we have to talk about the price, and this is where it gets painful. If this car had a legacy European badge, it would easily cost $150,000. But the Avatr 12 starts in its home market for roughly 300,000 RMB, which converts to about 42,000 USD. That is the price of a well-equipped family hybrid in the West. For that money, you get a car that looks like a concept vehicle from the future, with build quality that rivals the best in the world and tech that makes everything else look like a flip phone. It makes you wonder what we are actually paying for in our own markets. The Avatr 12 is a massive wake-up call, signaling that the rules of the game have been rewritten. Could you live without a rear window to have this kind of future? Would you trade your current luxury car for a machine that feels like it was built by a more advanced civilization? I think most of us would. Let me know in the comments if you're team future, or if the missing window is a deal breaker. Thanks for watching. Subscribe the channel SpecShift, and I will meet you in the next one.